Let's proceed to the questionnaire. So in questionnaire, this is the student profiling using questionnaire. So here, so basically the questionnaire module allows you to construct survey using variety of question types from the proposed of gathering data from user. So for my example, I have a questionnaire. So this is somehow similar to Google Forms. Okay. So here I have the advisee profile. And once I click it, then I can also answer this particular question. So for example here, this is my first section. So last name, first name, and then middle name. And then here, this is my first section, and then this is the second page. So again, this is somehow related to Google Forms. So for this case, just give me a minute because I will just enroll first the participants for this activity. So just give me a minute first. Okay, so we will proceed regarding the questionnaire. So again, it's how you set up a particular layout or format or form regarding your student profiling in your survey questionnaire or questionnaire activity in MySoul. So in this part, I am showing you the basic field names available in that particular questionnaire. That is, you can have the field names can be your last name, first name, middle name, and so on. So these are the field names wherein you can type a particular response to that particular field name. We have here text box, and then we have the birth date, we have the selection, and then here you have a particular question that is more on parenting question. If example in this question, if do you have a sibling? So if your answer is yes, then automatically it will proceed to this particular section. So which means that this particular question has a follow-up question. And then here you have here this, and also in this question, I have follow-up question regarding this particular question. So again, it's more on the same as the you are answering student profiling questionnaire, or same as you will answer those particular questionnaire found in each particular post webinar survey. They have the same functionality. It's how you set up this particular questionnaire. So in this case, So questionnaire can be used as a student profiling, or you can use it in an online election. Okay. So for this part, so I will just show you how to make a questionnaire activity. So in this part, you first is you pick a particular section that you want your questionnaire to be in. So in my case, I will use this section number 8. So I will just simply create a questionnaire here. So I will click the create learning activity, and then I will just go to the activities tab and I will select the questionnaire. So questionnaire, and then you will be redirected to the questionnaire page. Here, you will have your name, the name of the questionnaire. So example, in my case, I will use the advices profile. And then for here, some instructions or general instructions, then you can also include. And then if you want that one to display in the course page, so just click display description on course page if you have a particular instruction in the description box. And then if you are still making your activity, just hide from students. And after that, you set the availability date and time. Example, for this case, I will allow responses till 5. So you just set up this particular date and time for the availability of this questionnaire. And then a third option is you will set up the response options. In this part, type is response. So first, it's up to you on how you will choose this particular response. So in my case, the default is we will use the response once. So for instance, if they open this particular questionnaire, then they can only respond the question or questionnaire once. And then here, the respondent type, you can have it display their full name or anonymous. In that anonymous, the name for that one is just like respondent 1, respondent 2. And then here, students can view all responses. So in this case, I set this as never. Okay. If you want this particular questionnaire to reveal to the students, then you can also modify this setting. And then send submission notification, so no. And then save and resume answer, so no. And then you allow branching question. So if you have follow-up question with that particular question, so you can also set it to yes. And then auto numbering. So again, it's how you auto number that particular page. So in that case, I will not use the auto numbering. So do not number question or pages. And then after that, okay, you can set that one to grade. But in this case, this particular activity is not graded. This is just simply complying the information for advices profile. So no need to have a grade. And then it's up to you if you want to have a restriction regarding what particular group will fill up this particular form, or it's up to you on how you set up this restriction or condition from your learners. And then activity completion. So in activity completion, I will use the third one, show activity as complete when conditions are met. So I will just take this particular condition that student must submit this questionnaire to complete it. So this will be the structure of my questionnaire. So you have the name of your questionnaire, you have the description, brief description about the questionnaire, and you display it in the course page. And then if you are still uh, constructing your questionnaire, so hide from student, and then the availability, the closing date and time, I set it, and then the response option. So in this questionnaire, it is limited to one response only. And then it will display your full name. And if that's confidential, so again, you can have it anonymous. And then the students can view all responses, so never. And then no, no. And then if you have follow-up questions, then you can set this one as allow branching questions. So that's the term for those follow-up questions. And then here, submission grade, none. So you go to restrict access if you have restriction regarding this particular questionnaire. And then activity completion. So in my case, I use the third one. They show activity as completed when conditions are met, and then I just simply click the students must submit the questionnaire to complete it. And then once you're done, you save and display. Click save and display. And then you can now add questions to it. So for example, so here, add questions. So you click the add questions. And then here are the types of questions or question type. So you can have the checkbox wherein you can have multiple answers, and then you have the date, the drop down box, uh, essay box, label, numeric, radio buttons, rate, scale, 1 to 5, text box, and yes or no. So for this case, I will use the text box, the text box type of question. So I will just click the text box first and then add a selected question type. So in this part, you have question name. So question name, so for example, I will give it a name. So in this part, I will generate a first name, or you can have it this one a F name. So that pertains to the first name. And then here you set up is this particular response required, yes or no? So yes. And then this is the length of the box. So that's 20, and then the maximum letter is 25. So you can adjust that particular setting. And then the question itself, so this is giving your first name, and then colon. And then you can click the Save Changes button. So this is the form for the text box. You can see the text box. You are in this particular part, you use the text box as the question type, and then you have here, you have the question name, that's the F name, and then the description part, this will be your actual question, giving of the first name. If you want to preview this particular question, then you can click the preview tab. So click the preview tab, and then you can see here, this will be the structure. So here, as you notice, this is required. So we have the asterisk symbol. So this means that this field name is required. So they will type that particular response. And then if you go back to adding more question, just go click questions tab. And then here, so for example, I have here a text box, and then I will add Again, this is middle name. Middle name, and then this is required. And then the question text. So the question, so middle name. And then click save changes. And then I will click again, text box, and then add. And this part, we have the last name. Question text is the last name. And then here, click Save Changes button. You can see here we have 3 field names, the first name, middle name, and last name. So for instance, if you want to have a plain showing of information, so you will use the label part. So click the question type. So here you have the label. Click the label and then add a selected question type. In this part, this is the question name. So this is more on personal info. This is only the label part. So here, this particular section. So for instance, you have a personal information, displaying of personal information. Again, this is a label part, so it will not generate responses from your learners, but it's just simply showing you a particular information. So you just simply save changes, and then you can see here, we can reposition, or we can move this particular question type by just simply clicking the move icon. So here, this is the move icon. And then here you can see the placeholder here. So in my case, I will click this particular before position 1 or before first name. So I will click here. And in that case, that will be the position of my label. So the first label, a label is personal information text. So it's just basically showing you the text part. Again, you can incorporate in the label part, you can incorporate or add images or plain video links for your information. So in this case, we simply use the simple plain text because we are generating advicees profile. So if you want to preview, just click the preview tab. So this will be the preview tab. So personal information, first name, middle name, and then last name. And then here, if you want to add questions again, so just click this particular questions tab. And then, for example, you want to add birth date. So example, click the question type. So that's the date. And then click the add selected question type. And then here, this is the birth date. So birth date. So again, response is required. So yes. Then the question. So this is the birth date. And then you click Save Changes button. You can see here, you have here the date and then the date, and then we have that particular question. So again, if you want to preview, just click the preview tab to see the effect of that particular question. Add, so you go to the questions tab if you want to add another question. So we use label, text box, we have date, and then we will use our radio button. So here, radio button, This is only for one single choice or response. Then add select question type. And then here we have example sex. And then here response is yes. And radio buttons alignment, so vertical or horizontal. It's up to you on how you display it. And then here we have the question. And then these are the possible answer. So in this part, you have male and female. So here you have first line is your first option, and second line is your second option. So you have here, you have this particular question name. You have particular question name, and then you require this particular question to be required, and then you display the possible options in vertical mode, and then you have the question text and then possible answers, and then you just simply click save changes button. And then here, that's the, you have here, you have added another question. And then if you want to preview, so you just simply click preview tab, and then you can see here that structure for the radio button. It allows only single choice or option. So here, so now let's proceed to add another divider or section. To add a divider or section, you just simply click the page break, okay? To divide this particular from section 1, this is more on personal information. So you will add a page break to divide this particular section to another information that is family information, for example. So if you want to add page breaks, so just click the add selected question type. So here, this is page break, and then you can now start adding your second you will use the label for displaying for the second information that is family information. So you will use label and then add selected question type. So here, question name. So in this part, so you have here, so you have a family info. So we have here section 2. This is family information. Family information. So family information, again, in this part, since this is just simply showing you this particular label, so you just simply click Save Changes button. So you have here the page break. So you have the second section, which is family information. So now you can also add like first name. You can add another information like just like father's name or mother's name, and then parents' contact email address, parents' contact number, or do you have a sibling? So from this case, we will just simply do the same steps as we do in the first part. So for this case, so I will just click here, for example, for this case, since we already know what is text box looks like, so we will use another part in this question. I'm talking about if you have follow-up questions related to your question. So example, in the family information, since For instance, we already display a particular first father's name, mother's name, parents' contact email address, uh, parents' contact information number, or that is in the form of text box. So we will use a follow-up question that is, do you have a sibling? And then if they answer yes, then they will have a follow-up question for that. So in that case, we will use a particular question that is in yes or no. So for example here, yes or no, and then you just simply add selected question type. And then for this example, since we will use this simple follow-up question, so we will name it as sibling. And then here we're required, so yes. And then here we have, this is the question itself. And then here, so we will just simply give this a particular question. So for example, in this part, we have the question name, sibling, and the response is required. Okay, response is required. The question itself is this particular question. And then in here, we will not first set up this dependency, because they will answer yes or no first in this part. You just simply click the Save Changes button. And then after that, okay, you will now have your follow-up question. So for example, if you have follow-up question, okay, if you have follow-up question with regards to this particular question, then you just simply have a page break. So for example, first, you will have a page break. Click the page break, and then you click the adds question type. And then here, so you have the page break, and then you can have the second question for the follow-up. So for example, if they click the yes, so they will have a follow-up question for that. So for example here, I will use the follow-up. So my type of question is drop down box. So I will just simply click the add selected question type. And then here you have the name. So in this part, so you can have here, question name is how many, and then the question. So this is the question text, and then your possible answer. So you can have it like, you can enlarge this part, and then here you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and more. That is your options, possible options. Okay, and then here, all you need to do is just simply click a parent question, your parent question. So for example, you will go to the sibling. Okay, since they will answer that particular sibling, that's the question name. So if they answer yes, then they will be redirected to this particular question. Okay, and then you can just simply save changes button. So in that case, this is the structure of follow-up questions. Do you have a sibling? So if yes, then it will go to this particular question. So that's how you structure a follow-up question. So again, you can also use the same. You can use the same another question type, or you can structure, or you can explore another question type like essay box, rate 1 to 5, and then text box, yes or no, and so on. So again, it depends on how you structure or you format your particular questionnaire. So if that is intended for uh, student profiling only, so you just simply use the text box, label, uh, essay or date or radio buttons, and so on. And this is somehow similar to the Google Forms. If you want to see the preview, so you just simply click the preview tab. And then here you can see here, you have your page 1. So you have your information or the field names. And then your page 2. Okay. And then once they check this particular option, then they will be redirected to the page 3, and then they can submit their response. And then here, since you already added, first is we do simply set up the questionnaire settings, and then we simply add questions to it. So these are the different types of question. So to add a particular question, so you just simply select this from the drop down menu, and then you will just simply click that particular question type, and then don't forget to add selected question type button to add that particular question. And then if you want to have the preview, then you just click the preview tab. So for this case, we will have a sort of covered letter. I will show you how to display covered letter as well as the confirmation page. So in that case, we will click the advanced settings. If you want to have a covered letter, so in this part, so you have your, this will show the title of that survey questionnaire. If you have a subtitle, then then display your subtitle and then your information. This is the covered letter or cover letter. Again, this is in text editor. So basically you can format this particular box wherein you can also incorporate images or display YouTube links or plain text. So that is showing your covered letter. And then if they done already answering your survey questionnaire, then you can have your confirmation page. Like for this case, for this uh, advisee profile, so I have a confirmation. So for example, thank you for answering this survey questionnaire. So again, it's up to you if you have your heading heading text. So for instance here, you have a confirmation. So confirmation page will show your heading text. And then you have your body. Again, so here, this is the covered letter. So you have the title, you have the subtitle. If you have your subtitle, the title is required and the subtitle is optional. And then the additional info, again, this is displaying your covered letter displays or information. And then you have your confirmation page. So you have your heading text and then body text. And then after that, don't forget to save and return to course. Okay. For instance, if you already saved your questionnaire, you just simply click. Again, if you want to edit your particular survey questionnaire, so just simply click uh, your survey questionnaire name, and then you can simply click the gear icon, and then you can click the advanced settings, and then you can see here the several tabs. You can still edit here. And then if you want to edit the questions, so don't forget that you can edit, you can see here the icon. So this means that you move this particular question. And then here you can configure or edit this particular question. And then you can delete this particular question. And if you can see here the circle, so that means that this particular question is required. If that is green, so that means that this question is not required. Again, if you want to edit, so for example, the first name. So if you want to edit, just click this particular configure icon, and then you can change the name. You can change the setting for this part. Again, in this part, we just simply use the plain text. So you can add images if you want. So basically, that's how you make a questionnaire. So that is gathering student profiling. So basically, you can have it you can display your information structure first. If you have your Microsoft Word, you can place, or you just simply brainstorm your field names, and then you just simply copy and paste that one to our questionnaire. So basically here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 field names, but in this part this is mandatory if they answer yes. So this is just a follow-up questions regarding the question number 7. So in that case, if you are ready to show to the your students about your questionnaire, then just simply click the 3 vertical dots and show it to them. And then in that case, you can generate responses. So for example, in my advisory class, I use this particular questionnaire to gather student information. So for example, I have my advisory class, advisory information, and then I will just simply click this advices profile questionnaire. Once they have answered this particular questionnaire, you can see the responses. So if you click this one, you can have these responses. Okay. So for instance, the last name, the first name, and so on. So this is the summary. And then if you want to see the list of responses, then this is the list of responses who participated this particular survey. Okay. And then here, for non-respondents, then you can also see the non-respondent to this particular survey. So you can also uh, give a notification or PM or private message to them by just simply clicking that particular student, and then you can have that title and then the body that please answer this particular activity. And then here, view all responses. Okay, you can download this particular responses. If you click the download, and then here you have a series of format. So our common use is we will use the Microsoft Excel for generating the responses or format. In that case, then it will show an Excel file, and then it will show up your data. So in that case, so it's how will be the structure if you have already generated responses coming from your learners. You have the summary, and then you have the list of responses. So questions or clarifications regarding survey questionnaire. Regarding the emailing about in the advanced setting, the purpose of that one is to have a notification coming from your activity. It's up to them if they disable their particular setting in the my soul profile, like example here, profile. If they disable that particular okay, let's example here, notification preferences, and then if they disable this particular option, then they cannot see notification coming from their email about this particular activity that is in the form of questionnaire. So that's the purpose of having an email notification coming from questionnaire. So questions or clarifications regarding upscaling for teacher-student engagement. So basically, we have two major topics. We have polling activity or voting activity using choice activity, wherein you can have a single question display, but you can generate single or multiple responses coming from your learners. And then you can have your student profiling using questionnaire, student profiling, or you can structure it out to make an virtual election, for instance, for your advisory or for your class. So that's the usage of the two, polling activity, and then you have polling activity using choice activity, or you have the student profiling using questionnaire. So I have a question from Mom Sandra. What should be entered to fill space in the box of email in advanced setting? So in this part, again, this is optional. You just click, you edit this particular questionnaire. In this part, this is, we have here, after example for this part, this advanced settings is you will display first the title, the subtitle, or additional information. So this part, this is the front page of your questionnaire. So you have two options at the end. If you have the confirmation page to be in a form of URL, then you can link to that. So for example, if you have a certain upload in YouTube, just like showing that particular video, then you can have that one as a confirmation URL. Or you can make a plain confirmation page that's showing a basic heading text or body text for that. So it's optional. Ah, in this part again, wala lang ni siya ang email sa email box. Wala lang ni siya. Again, ang atong purpose lang din ni siya is to give us the front page or the covered letter of our questionnaire, and then it's our mode of choice if how you will display your confirmation. It is in the form of URL or in the form of plain text or plain showing of images. So questions or clarifications? Questions or clarifications? You can unmute yourself. So for this part, I will show you.
Sir
Okay.
Fred,
Yes.
good morning.
Good morning.
Mangutana ko sir kuan kanang kung contact number ang pangayoon. Sorry.
So contact number. Okay. So here in this part, we can use the text box, ma'am,
Okay.
or numeric part.
Okay, thank you sir.
Okay, ma'am. So in this part, I will show you the activity 4. So in this case, you can, I will explain the content for the learning activity 4. So in our learning activity 4, so basically our output for this one is you will make a polling or voting activity using the choice activity, and then second is you will make a student profiling at least 6 field names, just like first name, last name, contact number, address, and so on, using the questionnaire activity. And then you will just simply take a screenshot of your work and paste it to this particular activity. Again, in this particular activity, so na question si ma'am. So Doc Lily, hello Sir Fedley, good morning. What is the time that you would choose this questionnaire compared to Google Form or Survey Monkey, etc., as it seems to require tons of steps? So in this particular part, ma'am, again, yes, actually we have a lots of functionality with this part, but here this is integrated in our My Soul, so we can see to it that all the responses are in our My Soul platform, and this particular responses is being saved, of course, uh, in our platform. So this is secured and all the informations are being secured in this particular type of activity compared to the other third-party platform where we can simply integrate or fill up those particular form. The first time you will do it, again, it's actually there taas jud siya kayo tanan, but from time to time inyong i-review and then okay dali ede siya kayo pagkahuman. So again, it's up to you on how you integrate that one to you will integrate that one to our MySol, but at least you know that we have the same features in the in displaying or gathering information coming from our students, just like having a questionnaire activity. So again, so in this part, this is solely for all the uh, Silliman University students. So if outside na siya, then you can use, of course, inyo ang pinaka-easy ninyo is Google Forms. You can use the URL resource for displaying that particular link. Okay, so in this part, this is good for one particular classroom, wherein you just simply make a particular questionnaire, and then you will just import this one to that particular group or section. Okay, I have a question here. Okay, I will just read the question. Okay, here. Yes, you can make a profiling pod, Sir Ben. You can have a profiling from a student aside from the assignment. Okay, I have here questions. So, for example, Sir Mark, okay, to edit this particular questionnaire, so you just simply, again, click what particular section is your questionnaire. And then, for example, here, you just simply click this questionnaire name, and then you can click the gear icon, and then you just simply click the advanced settings, because if you click the advanced settings, all the other tabs will be displayed. So you just simply click if you want to add a question or delete a question, just click questions, and then here, questions tab, and then here, you just simply edit by just simply clicking. The first one is we have the move icon, and then second, we have the configure icon, or we want to edit it. So you just simply click this particular icon, and then if you want to delete, then just click the X. Just click the X mark. So muna siya, Sir Mark. So